could give you a generic answer to the title of this video, but I've decided to pinpoint one thing that holds a lot of people back. There's actually a lot of things. If you're a good pool player, better than a league player, but nowhere near a pro, and actually a weak semi-pro, and you can't figure out how to get to the next level, then I know you're doing wrong, because I see it every day of my life. It's not complicated. It's just a very, very, very common mistake, and the biggest issue is they're trying to be perfect when the pro, the very competent player, understands that they're not ever going to be perfect. And this is a big issue with a lot of things. People strive to be perfect, as good as they can be. This is normal behavior. So they work on becoming as great as they can be, which means pinpoint precision, no margin of error. It's a big, big mistake in pool, because you're never, ever, ever going to be perfect. And the striving for perfection is actually hurting you a lot. I'm going to try to explain it to you in this video. So it's one thing for me to say that. It's another to show you exactly what I mean. I probably didn't explain that well, so I'm taking the next step in actually showing you exactly what I'm talking about. So I watched a lot of the live streams from the Derby City, and I can easily see every single pro thinking like a pro, and I can see every single amateur or semi-pro making this same exact mistake. There's really an incredible difference in how these people are thinking. You're going to have to think different if you want to play different. So before you take any shot on the pool table, you think about how you're going to do it, how you're going to shoot it, and how you're going to get position on the next ball, and then you get down and you attempt to do it. Right? Okay. The mistake you're making is concluding how you're going to do it. It's not in your game, it's not in your stroke, it's not in your chalk, it's not in your tip, it's not in your pool cue. It's in your head. So it's not a matter of trying too hard. You should be trying hard. Anyone who succeeds in anything has tried very hard to get to where they're at. The mistake you're making is in how you're thinking. So you're trying too hard to do the wrong thing, and it's usually the difficult or complicated way, when you can really, really, really improve a lot by keeping it simple. It just never dawns on a player, and they can sit there and they can watch a million great players play, and it never dawns on them that those players are not doing incredibly complicated things in an attempt to be perfect. They understand that they're not perfect, and they understand how to keep everything simple. Watch any of them, and you can see in their video that they're thinking about their position play different than the average amateur is thinking about their position play. It's not that they're not trying. It looks like they're not trying. I mean, some of them, not everyone. But it's not the case. It's the big difference, and the thing you're missing is they're not thinking the way you're thinking. So it has less to do with how great of a pool player you are, and way, way more to do with knowing how to think. That sounds crazy, but it's true. So as weird as this might be, or might sound, you can be a really, really great pool player if you accept the fact that you're not perfect and you don't try to be perfect. Your biggest concern is the angle. Players make the biggest mistake and in trying to be closer to the ball at the right angle when all you needed from the start was the right angle. So perfect to an amateur player is 3 inches or 5 inches from the object ball at the perfect angle. Well, the great player is much more concerned with the right angle than being 5 inches from the object ball, because the closer they try to get to the object ball, the higher the margin for failure. You understand? So while it's nearly always very easy to get the right angle, it's not always very easy to get close to the object ball. So a legitimate great player is thinking, all I need is the right angle on the next ball to get the right position on the following ball. And the amateur is thinking, all I need to do is get the right angle on the object ball while getting 5 inches from the object ball. So the way they're thinking is actually increasing their chances of failure. Good enough wins pool games. Perfection loses them. So striving to be good enough is better than striving for perfection. If they have the right angle, they're going to get on the next ball. So while you're striving to be 5 inches from the object ball, they're putting all their effort into getting the right angle, whether it's a 5-foot shot or a 5-inch shot. The reason you can't get to the next level is because you're thinking the same way you thought when you first picked up a cue. So all these marketers who are trying to sell you tips and sticks and everything from sandpaper to weights for your cue, they want you to think that your game is going to improve when you buy whatever gizmo they're selling, and they can't sell you what's in your own head. And that's what's going to improve your game more than anything else in the whole world. You're going to have to change the way you think. This is obviously the result of a really bad break. And what tells me that is where the one ball is and where the cue ball is. Both of those balls should be up table from the side that you broke on. If the balls are racked right and you're breaking right, the one ball has absolutely nowhere to go but up table. So if you're breaking from this side of the table, the one ball is going to be forced up to that side of the table. So your cue ball should be behind the center string and on this side of the table. If you're breaking from that side of the table, the one ball is going to go up this side of the table, and your cue ball should be on the same side that you're breaking on. Okay? And that'll give you the highest percentages of having a shot on the one. Never should the one ball be down this side and the cue ball be down the same side. Even worse is if your cue ball is up on this side and the one ball is down on that side. Or vice versa, if the one's up table and the cue ball is down table. You want both of these balls up table back. Okay? And that's beside the point, the whole point of this video. And we're going to get into breaking and the correct way to break and what you're trying to do in another video. And I'm going to get really, really, really detailed about that very subject. So before we go on, let's find the center of the table. Let's move this out of the way here. And let's call this pink square the exact center of the table. Alright? Now, before I go too far, we'll just do one ball at a time. I changed the center of the table to blue just because the cue balls showed up better on the color blue. After I shoot this one ball, this is where the cue ball winds up. Now I'm going to show you what happens after I shoot the two ball. Here's where the cue ball wound up after shooting the two ball. This is where the cue ball winds up after shooting the three ball. You seeing the pattern yet? Here's where the cue ball winds up after shooting the four ball. Here's the position of the cue ball after shooting the five ball. Here's the position of the cue ball after shooting the six ball. Here's the position of the cue ball after shooting the seven ball. So, and finally, here's where the cue ball winds up after shooting the eight ball for a shot on the nine ball. So if we eliminate the break shot, which was just pure bad, obviously you can see what's going on here. But why is this relevant? And I'm going to show you why in the remainder of the video. On this first take, this next clip of this video is going to be in fast forward. And I want you to watch the cue ball only. Don't even look at the shot. Don't look at my stats or my stroke or anything. Just pay attention to where the cue ball winds up after the shot. This is a little bit hard to explain, so if I screw up and have to correct myself, bear with me. I'm doing this without thinking about it when I'm playing pool. You're going to have to think about it so you correct your errors. Alright, so if you look at this 2 and how to get back from the 2 to the 3, chances are you're looking for this angle to get back on the 3 in order to get position on the 4. So let's just go 4 balls ahead. I could go all 9 balls ahead, but I don't want to confuse anybody in what I'm trying to say here. So we're shooting the 1, and while you're trying to get right here, I want the same angle, but I'm settling for distance. Because the further away I am, the more margin of error I have. The closer you get to this 2 ball, and your margin of error collapses. If you try to get perfect on that 2, chances are you're going to come up a little bit short or a little bit long. And now you're not going to be able to get on the 3, the correct position on the 3 to get the correct position on the 4 in order to get back on the 5. You with me? So let's shoot through and keep going. I might have to cut this video a couple times. Usually I do it all in one take. So there's the position you're looking for, I'm looking for, everybody's looking for. The difference with this game is I'm settling for the distance and the shot, and you're trying to get closer, and in that effort to get closer so the game can be easier for you, you're actually making it way, way, way too hard. Got a little bit of right hand English, and we're exactly where we need to be on the 3, and we didn't have to get super close to the 2. So now here comes another big mistake players make, and most likely you're trying to get straight in on the 4 so you can shoot it in this corner and draw the cue ball back for straight in position on the 5. And straight in position on the 5 is not going to help you get on the 6. If you get center table when shooting a 4, you have everything you need to get on the 6. So forget straight in on the 4, just use this rail, put a little bit of right hand in. Don't draw, you're going to draw in the corner, in the side. Just force it off this rail with some right hand English, and we'll spin it back up, not to get straight in and close to the 4, just to get center table, and that's all we need to get on the 6.
Yep, center table's fine. We just have to go down to the end rail and bounce back up. And when we're bouncing back up, center table is fine on the 6. And when we shoot the 6, center table is fine on the 7. And center table is fine on the 8. And center table is fine on the 9. You're trying to get right here, to get right here, to get right here, to get right here, to get right here. When you have all this to get through. Yeah, you might think I screwed up here because I went too long, but I got straight in on the 6, and that's all I want to do on the 6, because that'll leave me straight. That's what I'm looking at right there. That'll leave straight in on the 6, and a stop shot, or draw back a little, leaves me perfectly straight in on the 7, and all we have to do is stop on this 7 ball, and we have the perfect angle to get back on the 9. But again, I'm not looking to get this close to the 7. I have the whole center of the table to do that. And right there, again, a lot of guys would have forced to this rail and back to this rail in an effort to get 5 inches from the 9 on a straight-in shot, and you have the whole center of the table. The 9's just sitting there begging you to shoot it. You're making things way, way, way too hard on yourself by trying to be perfect and trying to get this close to the object.